Hi, I'm Chidi Aku, a marketing manager at PSI Software SE, and I'm joined by one of our esteemed product managers. Could you introduce yourself?
Yes, hi Chidi. My name is Alessandro Stenico. I'm the product manager for the business area quality of PSImetals.
It's great to have you here with us, Alessandro.
Thank you.
All right, so let's go straight to it. Let's talk about what's new with PSImetals Quality.
Yes, so we have released two main functionalities in PSImetals Quality recently. I would like to describe to you briefly. So one is statistic-based test results. This is a functionality that was required by the market because sometimes our customers are allowed to publish in certificates test results that are non-specific according to the European norm, but also if there is an agreement with the customer, you are allowed in some cases to not test the materials that you deliver, but you can put into the certificates values that have been either tested on some similar materials or let's say materials of the same type produced under the same condition or are the result of statistical evaluation. So our functionalities is a tool that manages these test results, historical, and you can configure how to generate these statistic results, for example, based on product, based on dimensions, based on time frames, and provide them automatically for the quality decision, which means you can certify the materials based on this result, of course, if the sales order allows it, and then publish it to the ERP system to create certificates. This has a big benefit because if the both sides, customer and metals producer, agree on it, there is a win-win situation because the costs are reduced. You don't have to test to sample the materials. You don't have to perform the test. You don't have to wait for test results. So these are, under some condition, permitted, let's say, simplifications. And before, the customer had to, let's say, derive this value by its own and put them manually. And now we have automated this process and supporting also the management of these statistic results.
So, yes, thank you. That sounds like a great new feature. Are there any other new features that we can that are currently available with PSImetals Quality?
Yes. So, in this release, we have gone a big step ahead in the direction of cloud availability of PSImetals. We had customer asking us to provide order dressing, our tool for generating production order in the cloud. And for this reason, we had to adapt, let's say, order dressing to the challenges of the cloud delivery. One of the challenge was, let's say, minimal disconnections of the cloud service towards order dressing, which had to be somehow managed. And another aspect is the fact that if you have databases in the cloud, like, for example, Oracle ABS, you have, let's say, fluent database that is elastically increasing maybe, and it's also the management of this database is within this SAS provider, so that we have, let's say, a more flexible situation, and order dressing needs to adapt its communication to the database with a middle layer in order to perform all the operation that it's used to do with a static database. So there were some technical challenges to bring order dressing to the cloud, but we solved them, and now order dressing is available also as a cloud service.
Okay, so these are some great new features that we've just talked about. What about the future? What else could we expect from PSImetals Quality?
Yes, so PSImetals is about to adopt BPM in many of its applications.
May I just cut you there and ask you, what is BP?
BPMN is Business Process Management, and behind BPMN you have Business Process Modeling and Notation, which is a global standard for describing business workflows for any type of industry. And the advantage of BPMN as a notation is that you have a language that is kind of common language between several stakeholders. So the business owners, but also the developer, as well as the management and the PSI consultants, they can look at a problem or at a business workflow using the same language. This has a huge impact on for projects during specification to avoid misunderstanding, to avoid iteration of the specification. And this is at the beginning just, let's say, kind of grammar, let's say, to describe a business project process. And then you can, after you have defined all the details, you can deploy this business process to what is called a BPMN engine. This is a software that can run instances of this workflow and so orchestrate different services provided by PSImetals, and therefore realize, let's say, the software, realize the execution of the software in according to what has been specified and agreed between all the stakeholders, which is, of course, something that should happen in any type of software development. But this BPMN, for us, it's a way of, let's say, make more effective, more efficient the specification phase and the implementation. And even more interesting, because you can imagine you have kind of briquettes that you can reshuffle in the workflow. This is an excellent opportunity also to provide customization without need of recoding the software, redeploying the software. It's a much more faster way of provide a tailored solution to our customer that require a business workflow that might be different than the standard ones provided by PSImetals.
Okay, that sounds very fascinating. It sounds like we're making great leadway in terms of progress.
Yes, and PSImetals Quality, together with some other application, are, let's say, the first one that will use this BPMN engine and BPMN modeling and notation as a tool in order to enable fast customization to solve, let's say, the requirements of our customer.
Oh, that's great. Definitely very customer oriented. And I mean, I believe that one of the things we do brag about is to be able to customize in order to fit the customer's needs.
Definitely.
So, what other advantages are there with BPMN?
Well, with BPMN, we have now the possibility to integrate in our business workflows also user tasks. This is something also our customers are asking very often in order to streamline better their own processes, to define, let's say, workflow that go beyond the pure automatized software, but involves also users that have different roles that might perform different operation at different times, and the BPMN engine can orchestrate also this kind of task, which can be inserted in the workflow like any service task of the software. And also this is a way to fulfill a common requirement by our customers.
All right, that's very fantastic. Thanks for sharing that with us, Alessandro.
Thank you, Chidi, for having me.
Fantastic. So this was another great episode of Random Talk, and we had another great guest. So please look forward to the next episode where we'll talk more about what our solution has to offer you on your digitalization journey. Thank you.